Espera, hay muchas interferencias. Doc, ayúdame con esto. Vale. A la derecha. Ya, para ahí. Ya está. Papá.
Alex, ¿dónde estás? Oh, cielo santo, dime que has salido de la ciudad.
No, aún no, pero
¿Cómo?
escucha, le tenemos.
¿Tenéis a Gordon? No. Pero escúchame, tenéis que salir de la ciudad. La ciudadela podría estallar ya mismo.
Me temo que lo hará sin duda alguna. Los sensores remotos indican que el proceso se acelera a una explosión de energía.
Isaac.
Quien se encuentre en las inmediaciones quedará expuesto a unos
Isaac,
fenómenos cuyos
basta.
efectos son imposibles de predecir. Los daños causados a las células serán
¡Kleiner,
enormes.
para!
¿Papá?
Ah, Ellie, lo siento, pero no hay motivo para alarmarse, ¿no? Alex ya no corre ningún peligro o riesgo.
Bueno, aún estamos en la ciudadela.
¿Qué? ¡Dios mío! Pero no hay tiempo. El núcleo está a punto de explotar. No hay forma de alejarse a no ser que... Bueno, solo se puede retrasar la reacción si intervenimos directamente en el núcleo.
¿Qué? ¿Entremos?
Sí, en el núcleo. Pero es demasiado peligroso. La cámara estará llena de radiación.
Bueno, tú tienes el traje. Si conseguimos entrar en la ciudadela, sí que podríamos...
Alex, no.
Pero papá...
Isaac, hazla entrar en razón.
Lo siento, Ellie, pero no hay alternativa. Podríamos evacuar a más ciudadanos.
Podemos hacerlo, papá.
Vale, Alex. Vale. Pero prométeme. Prométeme que no correrás ningún riesgo innecesario.
Lo prometo. Te quiero.
Yo también te quiero. Rezaré por ti.
Tranquilo. Nos vemos pronto. Sí. Tranquilo. A ver si podemos entrar en la ciudadela por algún sitio por aquí. Dog, ¿me quieres ayudar? Gracias. Venga, recoge todo y nos vemos en el otro lado. ¡Oh! ¡Qué caída! Tú primero.
Right off the bat, we needed to hammer home some story points, reintroduce the cast of characters, and explain the player's immediate goal. It was a pretty intimidating chunk of non-interactive exposition. We generally approach these scenes by writing way too much, and then through constant playtesting, trimming the scene to more manageable levels. But in this case, even after some heroic pruning, the opening scene still felt too long. We ended up splitting the introductory sequence into 3 scenes, separated by some gravity gun puzzle solving, and then a dramatic walk across a crumbling ledge.
When we designed the Half-Life 2 facial system back in 2000, our goal was to get a natural-looking performance at a moderate distance. Given our real-time polygon and texture budgets, we chose fairly reserved or constrained performances over ever having the actors' faces get into a bad-looking or unnatural expression. For Episode 1, we wanted to extend the character's facial system to support more intense performances with a wider range of facial expressions that would hold up better at close range. These facial improvements included increasing the detail around the eyes and mouth, increasing the number of facial shape targets, think of these as movements of muscle groups, by about 50%, rewriting the rules that control how these shapes blend, and increasing the intensity of many of our existing shapes. In addition, we added support for controlling the amplitude of the facial movement for lip sync animation, which let us dampen or amplify the mouth shapes based on the volume or intensity of the dialogue.
Sometimes we need to keep the player in an area so that we can deliver some critical dialogue or run an important sequence of events. In these cases, we temporarily block the player's path using what we call a gate. These gates generally take the form of some obstacle that can only be removed or opened by some character or event. In this case, the obstacle is a crashed gunship that can only be moved out of the way by Dog. Though the final scene looks pretty straightforward, a lot of care had to be taken to make sure that Dog hit his marks and played his sequences without trampling and damaging the player.
Monitor scenes are especially difficult to make interesting, since they tend to involve literally just talking heads. By interweaving critical expository information, like how dangerous the Citadel has become. With some dramatic character interactions between Alex, Eli, and Dr. Kleiner, we were able to convert a potential liability into one of the strongest scenes in the game. A great way to illustrate characters' relationships to each other is to have one of the characters in danger and show the other's reactions to it, which is what this scene is all about.
Alex travels through much of Episode 1 with the player, and consequently passes through a wider variety of lighting conditions than she did in Half-Life 2. This meant that we had to improve the quality of the lighting algorithms used on Alex to look realistic in any situation, from the eerie hallways of the Citadel to the streets of City 17 at sunset. For this episode, we added a specular lighting term to the shaders used on Alex, which provides a realistic shiny look to her skin, her leather jacket, and even her teeth. In these new lighting calculations, we chose to specifically emphasize bright highlights caused by illumination from grazing angles. This type of lighting, also referred to as rim lighting, is particularly dramatic when coming from low-angle light sources such as this bright sunset. You'll also note that the rim lighting is further enhanced by our high dynamic range post-processing, which causes the specular highlights to bloom in a striking and dramatic fashion. We have found that the move to an episodic development cycle allows us to take advantage of the fast pace of graphics hardware innovation by incrementally adding new features, such as Alex's new lighting techniques, to the source engine with each new episode.
This ledge is a really tricky spot for NPCs to navigate. While we wanted Alex to be able to maneuver dynamically through any complex environment, in certain navigation situations we're faced with a trade-off between flexibility and visual quality. In this particular case, she navigates the ledge with a combination of AI and scripted animations. We've continued to evolve the systems of Half-Life 2 whereby characters move fluidly through dynamic AI and scripted navigation, but ultimately what matters most is how it looks to the player.
¿Qué tarda, Dog? ¡Dog! ¡Dog! ¡Cuidado! ¡Dios mío! ¡Dog! 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 ¿Estás bien? Gracias a Dios. Vaya susto. Ahora no te vayas. Y busquemos un camino. No me puedo creer que ahora intentemos volver. Vamos a sudar sangre. Bueno, Doc, ¿cómo lo ves? ¿Alguna idea? Vale, Doc. No sirve de nada. Tiene que haber alguna manera de pasar. ¿Pero cómo? ¿Crees? ¿Dog? ¿Pero a dónde vas? ¿He dicho algo malo? ¿Eh? ¡Dog! ¿Qué estás...? Creo que a Dog le falta un tornillo. ¡Cuidado! Dog, en serio, ha faltado poco. ¿Qué te pasa, eh? ¿Cómo leches nos va a servir eso? Un momento. Ah, no. No irás en serio, ¿verdad? Bueno, Gordon Gordon, a menos que tengas una idea mejor, él es el robot y él decide. ¿Sabes lo que haces? Ajá. Quiero que salgas de aquí lo más rápido que puedas. Ve con papá. Te alcanzaremos, tranquilo. Vale, vale. Te echaré de menos. No te preocupes por mí. Nos veremos. Al asiento de pasajeros.
It's really important to us to create scenes that showcase strong relationships between our characters. The relationship between Alex and Dog seems to be especially satisfying to players. In the scene leading up to the van toss, we had a bug before the animation was complete, where Dog's head would shake as he looked back at Alex. In a happy accident, his head shook right after she asked him, "You did do the math, right?" In playtests, players thought this was intentional and always laughed. Because of that, we worked it into the animation and it ended up being a terrific little moment between Dog and Alex.
Our games are created by design collectives that we call cabals. When the idea to have you and Alex sit in a van and then have Dog toss it across the gorge was first suggested during a cabal meeting, everyone thought it was funny, and then we moved on to more serious solutions for the gorge crossing. As the design progressed, though, we kept coming back to the van idea, and eventually everyone agreed that we should give it a try. Even though the idea was kind of outrageous, it satisfied some key goals we had for the scene. Alex and the player get across the impassable gorge, and Dog is able to play a key role in the mission, while also plausibly getting left behind. There were still some problems to solve, though. Attaching animated models to the van was tricky, making sure the van didn't kill the player took some thought, and it took a number of tries before we were able to really illuminate Dog's thinking, as he went from testing his idea with chunks of debris to finally presenting the plan to Alex. Ultimately, we were able to create a scene that solved some tricky game design issues, provided an intimate view of the relationship between Alex and Dog, and delivered a surprising and visceral entrance to the Citadel.